especially when my dad got sick and he passed away when I was in college, like religion and Christianity was something that I found a lot of comfort in, especially all the people that I knew from my church. Like they sent me lots of cards, wishing me well and my family well. They really helped my mom out. And so I really learned, how helpful religion and, can be for people, especially if, thinking about this from a psychological perspective again, or like scientific perspective about, the conversations we had about like building like community. Religion can be very effective at that. Um, and so it's something I obviously don't want to be like dismissive of when I'm meeting with clients who maybe are struggling with similar experiences or trying to think about how their values might or might not align with the particular religion that they currently kind of feel like is right for them. One of the things, I guess, going back to the idea of like finding meaning in life versus the meaning or like the meaning of life, is I feel like my job is not to help people find the meaning of life, it's to find some meaning in life in whatever way that works for them. And so, when we're thinking about religion, I really want to make sure people explore, the options that they might have. I remember meeting with one client who was also struggling with sexual orientation, coming from a very conservative Christian background, and how I told them that there are other Christian, I guess, denominations who are maybe more accepting, that there's maybe other avenues to still believe in God and, think about heaven and all those kinds of things and believe in that, while at the same time being true to who you are as a person in terms of like your sexual identity. So I think that's kind of the approach I try to take with folks. So it's not something that, I'm dictating what their values should be, because we all have enough of that as people who live in society. So that's kind of like the space I try to kind of build for folks.
Nice. Thanks for such a great answer. And when I primed this question, I said, this is a shared experience and I know of others, right? I'm trying to collect us and have these conversations. And there's another friend of mine. He's interesting because he was Mormon, but he was also, or is gay, and left over his sexuality. And then also he got to look behind the curtain and he thinks Mormonism is complete nonsense anyway. But it is an interesting existential experience that I think can help really, when you find other people who sincerely believed the faith or the religion as much as you or me or some of my friends have, and then sincerely reject it, where in my biased opinion, I see a lot of people that they kind of go to church because that's the cultural prescriptive thing to do, and then they just kind of stop going when they don't feel like it, but they'll still call themselves Christian or whatever other religion they might be a part of. So they're more of the Creaster or nominal religious types, whereas some of us, we're much more hot or cold about it, where we drew a line and said, as of today, no more, or this is not me anymore. And I'm bringing this up because of that meaning of life, meaning in life paradigm, and how it's caused me a lot of anxiety and depression, because when I was in the faith, I was told, by and large, this is the meaning of life, and the Southern Baptist, Protestant, evangelical flair of Christianity, which is very different than other flares of Christianity too. And then once I removed that substrate, I didn't have a leg to stand on to justify my actions anymore of what is good and evil, or what is a meaningful life, which has sent me on this quest of the meaning in life pursuit, which is very much in line with your therapeutic practices, very much in line with the ACT and with, I forget, Marsha Linehan's work.
Oh, DBT, yeah.
DBT, sorry. Of, yes, we've all experienced this crisis of meaning in our lives because we had the courage, so to speak, to say no to this culturally prescriptive notion of how to live our lives. And from my point of view, it's a very enlightening but grueling experience that I want people to go through, because you come out stronger on the other side. But I don't want people to go through the emotional toll it had on me to really have that substrate collapse. And I can see why people go to church or participate in religion. It provides easy answers. It provides easy ways to live life, and it provides the community. I am only where I am today because I had a strong community that was by and large architected from church groups that I could rely on and stand on. And then architecting new support structures apart from that has been a very difficult and interesting experience. So in the age of the meaning crisis, people are isolating themselves. Religion has been on the decline. I read some literature that young men apparently are increasing in numbers to become priests. Totally weird. And all of this seems to be tied to suicide, meaning in life, the meaning crisis, and then you doing the dirty work of doing the research and trying to help people through this tough time. You definitely have the more rigorous, scientific, professionally trained background in it and directly dealing with it, where I'm coming at it from a more synthetic, philosophical approach of trying to be a little bit more zoomed out and understanding not that it is happening, but why is it happening. And I think the apostasy crisis, or I don't know if it's a crisis, but the apostasy of the West seems to be playing a huge role in it.